5 years ago, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. My body had turned against me, and I thought I was going to die. I started planning my funeral, and in that moment, I realized I hadn't truly lived my life. I still had something in me. I prayed, I surrendered, and God walked me through healing. This podcast is for women who are done with surviving burnout and exhaustion. She is ready to live on purpose in alignment with God. Here, we talk about God. We talk about mastering the art of living because we're not here just to exist. We're here to be fully alive through self-mastery and purpose. I am Delnada Love, and this is Permission Granted.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Delnada Love. I just logged on because typically when I'm having a rough day, I don't share. And I spend that time alone, reflecting, and a lot of times journaling and getting my emotions out. And today that I was doing that, and I felt the need to share because I'm probably not the only person dealing with this. And the thing is, no one taught us how to deal with grief. So I lost my best friend, my childhood sweetheart, 22 years ago. And today is his birthday. And some years I have been able to the day would just go by and I wouldn't realize that it was his birthday. But today, the day went by and I was experiencing the grief of losing him. Hi, David. How are you? And so I'm like, I am sure I'm not the only person grieving losing someone who's very special to me and that I love very much. And so I just wanted to log on and say hello to anyone out there who is grieving, and if I could be there for you, because I never had anyone there for me, and I never even put it out there that I'm grieving and I would like somebody to just hold space for me while I grieve. Thank you, David. And it was 22 years ago, but I don't think the grief ever goes away. I don't think losing someone who was special to you ever goes away. And what I also realize is it's important for us as humans to allow ourselves to grieve. It is important to allow ourselves to cry and allow ourselves to remember people that we have lost and that are no longer with us. I even went so far as to, I just went to dinner and ordered a small cake for him, like a small dessert, because he was a very special human being and he deserves to be celebrated. So this is just a reminder that if you've lost someone that you still are grieving for, it's okay to celebrate them. It's okay to acknowledge them. And sometimes I go beyond that. And sometimes I just feel like I need to write him a letter because he's not here for me to share what I'm experiencing with. And I'm like, I'm going to write you a letter. And that is my way of releasing because he's not here for me to share all the things that I'm dealing with in losing him. So the best way to handle that is to write him a letter. And so look at me. You can't even tell that I'm grieving today. And I'm like, and if you saw me, you wouldn't be like, oh, that woman is grieving. So you guys do not know what people are going through. This is just to reflect back at you that we don't know what anybody is going through. And we can't assume that when we engage with other humans, and let's say, we get a response for them that we don't necessarily like, and then we think it's about us, and it's never about us. Most of the time, it's about what they're dealing with and what they are dealing with on a daily basis. And all of us have lost someone, especially during COVID. So many people lost people, but people have lost their spouses, their best friends, their husbands, their children, and we don't know what people are going through. And so this is just a reminder that if you don't know how to be empathetic to someone, and let's say you have an experience of someone being snappy to you, instead of reacting to them, take a pause and realize that that human has a life, that human has children, that human has all kind of things going on, and typically whatever they're going through has nothing to do with you. And I have learned from my own grief. Grief has been such a wonderful teacher for me. But I have learned through my own grief, because people didn't know that I was grieving, that sometimes when someone responds to you in a way that you don't like, that I just ask, hey, are you okay? Do you need anything right now? And it literally shifts them in the moment. Like, I have seen, they're like, whoa, hold on, I'm so sorry. I have received apologies. I have received a pause, and just people acknowledging oh, I'm not in a good headspace right now. Yes, go collect yourself. So let's practice being mindful that everyone is here on a journey, and most people are not out here deliberately trying to harm another person. Now, I'm not saying there aren't people out here who are doing that, but what I'm saying is most people generally are not deliberately trying to harm you as a human, and they're dealing with their own stuff. And if you have been a person who is grieving or has experienced grief, let grief be the teacher that most things that people are doing has nothing to do with you, and everything to do with all of the things that they're dealing with in their life. And you may be there, and you may receive, you may be on the receiving end of what they're projecting. Take a moment and breathe in that moment. And instead of reacting to what they project onto you, then just ask them, are they okay? And is there anything you can do for them? Because some people just need a hug. I know I do right now. I need a hug right now. And I'm about to start crying. So if you don't want to see that, I suggest that you just get off and log out. Because grief is hard. Grief is difficult. And losing someone, nobody prepares you for that. Nobody prepares us for loss. So, David, thank you for tuning in. And thank you all for listening to me today. Grief is hard. I think that losing someone is one of the most difficult parts of life. And we're not taught how to deal with that. I don't think we ever get over losing someone. I invite you to pause today and take a moment to reflect and acknowledge the people in your life who you have lost. Because I promise you that when we just try to distract ourselves from the grief, that doesn't make it go away. There's no amount of TV watching. There's no amount of distractions. There's no amount of doing anything, drinking, using drugs, and all of these things that we do to cope. There is no amount of coping that helps us to get rid of grief. Coping does not heal grief. Dealing with the grief, facing our emotions, that is what heals grief. No amount of drinking, doing drugs, watching television, suppressing our emotions. There's even no amount of working out. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me. There's no amount of suppressing that helps you deal with grief. The real way to deal with grief, and what they don't teach us and what is not taught in schools and nothing, is to face the grief, to allow yourself to cry. Sometimes I write a letter to the people that I love, especially when I'm missing them and I want to talk to them. They're not here, so what can I do? I write them a letter and I tell them how I'm feeling, because I need to release those emotions, because suppressing them only makes me upset. It only causes more pain. So release the pain, release the hurt, release the grief of losing someone that you love, because it's been 22 years for me and it doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. And maybe it will. Maybe eventually it will. I hope that eventually that it will, because I keep doing these things. And some years when his birthday comes, I don't think about it. And some years, like today, it's been a rough day for me. And I'm okay with that. And so, who out there has lost someone and don't know how to deal with the grief and want to learn how? Is that something that's important to you? Is that something that you would like to know? Is that something that you struggle with as a human? Because we all go through this. Because we've all lost someone. And if you haven't lost someone, you will eventually. You will eventually. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you so much for those of you who logged on. And thank you for holding space with me and allowing me to share my grief with you. I know one thing. Grief isn't easy. I think life is more than a journey. I think that life is, we're here to evolve our souls. And so what that means is, that doesn't mean that we're promised to have things are always going to be easy. It means, who do you become? Because it's easy to be happy when everything is going well. But what about who do you become when things are not going your way? That's the real test of if you're evolving or not. Who do you become when things are not going your way? And how are you responding to your environment? Because whatever that is the karma that we're creating when we're reacting to our environment, especially in a negative way, and we're harming other people. Whether it's with our emotions, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional or mental, we're creating karma every time we do harm to another human being. And what that means is, if you do harm to someone else, then you're going to get that karma back. So this journey is about you. It's about living in peace within yourself. And that means that you actually have to heal and pay attention and be conscious of how you're living your life and how you're impacting other people on a daily basis. Well, thanks for listening. This is Delnada Love. Good night.
If this activated something in you, that wasn't by accident. Your soul is speaking. Your season is shifting. You don't need permission from the world. You've already been chosen. This is your sign. Please subscribe to Permission Granted wherever you're listening to receive notifications, and stay connected at permissiongranted.com.